You wake up to the hum of your alarm, the same grating sound that pulls you from dreams you can barely remember. You shuffle through your morning routine, coffee, commute, a desk that feels like a cage. You're told this is freedom. You work hard, pay your bills, buy the things they say you need, the latest phone, the bigger TV, the car that screams success. You're free, they say, because you can choose red or blue, this brand or that, this life or one just like it. But somewhere, deep in your gut, there's an annoying question that won't let you go. If this is freedom, why does it feel like a trap? You've felt it, haven't you? The weight of a life that's supposed to be yours, but feels like it belongs to someone else. You scroll through feeds filled with smiling faces, curated lives, and promises of happiness just one purchase away. You hustle, you grind, you chase the next promotion, the next milestone, believing that's the path to something real. But the finish line keeps moving. The moment you grasp one shiny thing, another glimmers just out of reach. You're running a race you didn't sign up for, and no one told you the rules. What went wrong? How did the promise of freedom, the one you were raised to believe in, turn into a treadmill you can't step off? The answer lies in a deception so vast, so woven into the fabric of your world, that it's nearly invisible. It's the lie that you are free because you can choose what to consume. This is the great deception of the consumer society, the illusion that freedom is found in the marketplace, in the endless array of products, lifestyles, and identities you're sold. You're told your choices define you, that your purchases are your power, that your individuality shines through the brands you wear and the content you stream. But this is not freedom. It's a gilded cage designed to keep you tethered to a system that thrives on your compliance, your distraction, and your endless hunger for more. This lie didn't appear by accident. It was crafted, refined over decades by those who understood that true freedom of thought, of purpose, of self, would threaten their control. The consumer society, with its dazzling displays and seductive promises, emerged from the ashes of industrial revolutions and world wars, when power shifted from kings and priests to corporations and media empires. They needed you to believe that your role was to consume, not to create, to follow, not to lead. So they sold you a story: work hard, buy more, and you'll be happy. Stay in line, and you'll be free. But who benefits when you accept this story? Not you. The system does, those at its helm, who profit from your labor, your data, your desires. Let's pause and consider what freedom really means. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, whose words cut like a blade through the fog of complacency, spoke of the will to power, the innate drive to assert one's own meaning, to shape the world in accordance with one's deepest values. For Nietzsche, true freedom wasn't about choosing between options handed to you. It was about creating your own path, even in the face of a world that demands obedience. He saw through the lies of his time, what he called slave morality, a system of values that glorifies weakness, conformity, and sacrifice while demonizing strength, individuality, and ambition. Sound familiar? The consumer society is slave morality reborn, dressed in shiny packaging. It tells you to be content with your lot, to find joy in small choices, to equate your worth with what you own rather than what you are. Think about the daily reality this lie creates. You're bombarded with ads that promise fulfillment, a new gadget to make you efficient, a vacation to make you whole, a subscription to make you cultured. Each choice feels like an act of self-expression, but it's a script written by someone else. You're not choosing freely. You're navigating a maze with walls you didn't build. And the consequences are profound. You work longer hours to afford the life you're told you want, sacrificing time with those you love, time to think, Time to simply be. You're fed narratives that pit you against others, left versus right, rich versus poor, keeping you distracted from the real game being played. Your energy is siphoned into maintaining a system that rewards those who manipulate your desires, not those who toil honestly. Consider the diligent worker, pouring their soul into a job that barely pays the rent, while the influencer, peddling trends and half-truths, amasses wealth and status. Or the small business owner, crushed by regulations and corporate giants, while the CEO who outsources jobs to cut costs is hailed as a visionary. The system isn't broken, it's built this way. It rewards those who play its game, who perpetuate the illusion, while the rest are left to scramble for scraps. And yet, you're told to believe in fairness, in the just world where hard work always pays off. This is the lie's cruelest trick. It makes you blame yourself when the game is rigged. But what if you stopped believing the lie? What if you saw the system for what it is, not a ladder to climb, but a machine designed to keep you running? This is where the awakening begins. You start to notice the strings, the way your choices are shaped by algorithms, the way your fears are exploited by headlines, the way your dreams are molded by a culture that equates success with consumption. You realize that the freedom you've been chasing isn't freedom at all. It's a performance, a role you've been trained to play. And the moment you see this, the cage begins to crack. Nietzsche warned of the herd mentality, the instinct to follow the crowd, to cling to shared illusions for comfort. The consumer society thrives on this. It wants you to stay in the herd, to measure your worth by likes, followers, and possessions. But true freedom lies in breaking away, in what Nietzsche called becoming the Bermensch, the one who creates their own values, who defines their own purpose. This isn't about rejecting society or living off the grid. It's about reclaiming your mind, your will, your power to decide what matters. It's about seeing through the illusion and choosing to live deliberately, not as a cog in a machine, but as a force in your own right. So how do you begin? First, you question everything. Why do you want what you want? Is it yours, or was it planted there? Look at your life, the hours you spend, the things you buy, the beliefs you hold. Trace them back. Who benefits from your choices? If the answer isn't you, it's time to rethink. This is painful because it means facing the ways you've been complicit in your own confinement. But it's also liberating because it reveals the power you've always had, the power to say no, to redefine what success means, to build a life aligned with your deepest truth. This is where you redefine power itself. The consumer society tells you power is what you own, who you impress, how high you climb. But real power is internal. It's the clarity to see through lies, the courage to act on what you know, the discipline to create rather than consume. Nietzsche saw virtue not in self-sacrifice, but in self-overcoming, pushing past your fears, your doubts, your conditioning to become more than you were. This is the path to true freedom, not the freedom to choose between red or blue, but the freedom to write your own story. Now, imagine a life where you operate from this place of strength. You wake up not to an alarm, but to a purpose you've chosen. You work, but not to fuel someone else's empire. You build something that reflects your values. You consume, but only what serves you, not what defines you. You engage with the world, but on your terms, not as a pawn in a game you didn't design. This isn't a fantasy, it's a choice. But it demands action. It demands you stop waiting for permission, stop expecting fairness, stop hoping the system will change. It won't. You must. So take the first step. Question one belief, one habit, one choice that feels like it owns you. Peel back the layers. See where it leads. Then act small, deliberate, strategic. Every step you take outside the illusion is a step toward power. You are not a consumer. You are not a follower. You are a creator, a force, a will. The great deception has held you long enough. Break the cage. Live free. The cage is not made of iron, but of ideas, insidious, invisible, and all the more powerful for it. You've seen the lie now, the illusion that your freedom lies in what you buy, in the choices you're fed, in the endless cycle of work and want. But seeing is only the beginning. The real work is in what comes next, rewriting the script of your life, not as a player in their game, but as the author of your own. This is where the consumer society's grip falters, where its promises unravel, where you reclaim what was always yours, the power to define your existence. You might feel a surge of defiance, a spark of rebellion against the machine that shaped your desires. Hold on to that. But know this, defiance alone isn't enough. The system is cunning. It thrives on your outrage, your hashtags, your fleeting bursts of resistance. It absorbs them, monetizes them, turns them into new products to sell back to you. To truly break free, you must move beyond reaction to creation. You must build a life that answers to you, not to the algorithms or the billboards or the voices that whisper you're not enough. This is where Nietzsche's vision of the Bermensch becomes not just philosophy, but practice. The Bermensch isn't a superhero or a tyrant. It's you at your most authentic, stripped of the herd's expectations, forging a path through the chaos of a world that demands conformity. It's you deciding what success looks like, what love means, what freedom feels like. Not the freedom to choose between their options, but the freedom to reject their menu entirely. This is terrifying because it means standing alone, at least for a while. It means facing the void of uncertainty, the risk of failure, the judgment of those still tethered to the lie. But it's also exhilarating because it's the only path to a life that's truly yours. Start small, but start now. Look at your day. What's one thing you do because you're supposed to? Maybe it's the job you hate, the social media you scroll, the purchase you're saving for because it's what successful people do. Ask, does this serve me? Does it align with the person I want to become? If not, let it go. Not impulsively, but strategically. Replace it with something that does. Maybe it's an hour spent learning a skill you've always wanted, or a conversation with someone who challenges your mind, or simply silence time to hear your own thoughts without the noise of the world drowning them out. This act of refusal is your first rebellion, but it's not the last. The consumer society will push back. It will tempt you with convenience, seduce you with status, guilt you with obligation. It will tell you you're selfish for wanting more than the cage. But selfishness, in the truest sense, is not a sin, it's a necessity. Nietzsche saw it as the courage to prioritize your own becoming, to say yes to your potential, even when the world screams no. This isn't about trampling others. It's about refusing to let your light dim so someone else's can shine. As you carve this path, you'll notice something. The system doesn't just control your choices. It controls your imagination. It tells you what to dream. Bigger house, a better car, a life that looks good on camera. But what if your dream is quieter or wilder or something no ad could ever sell? What if it's a life of meaning, of connection, of impact? Reclaim your imagination. Let it run free. Write down what you'd do if no one was watching, if money wasn't a chain, if fear didn't whisper in your ear. Then take one step toward it, just one. The rest will follow. This is your call to action. Live deliberately. Act with intention. Question every assumption, every should, every choice that feels like a leash. You don't need to burn the world down. You just need to stop letting it burn you. Build your life like a work of art, each decision a brushstroke, each day a chance to create something real. The consumer society will keep spinning, but you don't have to spin with it. You can step off the treadmill, look around, and choose your own horizon. You are not a cog, not a consumer, not a shadow of someone else's dream. You are a will, a force, a creator. The great deception promised you freedom, but gave you chains. Now you see them. Now you know. Break them. Live free.